welcome to Talking Horses. I'm Maggie Wolfendale. Please be joined by Paul Verderosa as we are on the day after the Cigar Mile Day. And Paul, we saw some excellent performances. I thought Muhima in the Demoiselle was excellent. She ran faster than the boys in the Remsen, earning a 90 buyer and as well as locked.
Yeah, and in Muhima's case, I thought it was great too, especially because the way she broke, there was an inside open stall, kind of ducked in a little bit. Roger corrected her right away. She used that speed early, powered away late. It's going to be interesting to see because she's so big. Like, she's so much bigger than everybody that she looks older than
she
is.
Too, and I talked to Brad Cox afterward. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to his juvenile fillies. Obviously has the likely, and I would think she'd be a landslide favorite to win champion juvenile filly in Immersive. And the other one is completely escaping.
She ran, yeah, I know where she ran to, and I can't think of the name.
Sorry, completely
we'll think of it.
But as well as Muhima, he's saying Muhima, he might stick with her at Fairgrounds, take her Fairgrounds in to get on that road to the Kentucky Oaks, and then Immersive he's thinking about bringing back at Oaklawn.
That would be cool to see them in action. I love this time of year, too, because we get to see how they grow up, you know, during the winter time. And on Fairgrounds, I think will suit her well. I think especially with the way the track is and the size of the track, I think it'll help her out. So if she grows any more than she actually grows, she's going to be a monster. Yeah, she's going to be a monster if she does. She's huge now. So, and in Locke's case, I just thought Locke got a great ride from Johnny Velasquez.
Well, he kept him, you know, unencumbered on the outside. He did lose more ground than many, but it allowed him to get in that nice rhythm because he has such a big stride. And I think that was half the problem when you go back to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, that he was kind of, you know, stops and starts and had to re-rally against, you know, horses that the race flowed with them in fierceness, obviously being on the front end.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at a horse like him and everybody says, well, what could have been? I'm more excited about, I'm more excited about what's going to come for this horse, you know, now that we've seen him pair these races back to back together. So I'm looking forward to it because he strutted his stuff again. His body language was even better, I thought, than his last race where he acted like he owned Aqueduct. So looking forward to it. It was a really good day with good racing yesterday.
It was as a great day for Munnings too, taking both of the 2-year-old
big Munnings fan. I love that horse.
2-year-old stakes poster, of course, winning the Remsen, and Tizzy in the Sky, big day for Todd, taking 2 of the 4 greatest stakes, and Flavian Pratt, of course. Setting that new record for most stakes in a season.
Yeah.
6 wins.
Rad's got something to shoot for. And Flavian's going to keep adding to it because when he goes
I want him to take down Jerry Bailey's greatest stakes.
I know you do. You said this to me yesterday that you're just like chomping at the bit for him to get this. I think he will. I think he will because he's got time to do it. And there's some races at Santa Anita that he's going to ride into right after Christmas before the year is out. So
I think he'll do it.
A real shot. you got Maggie on your back now. You got to do it, bro. Flavian, it's all you. You got to do it.
Pressure's on. Well, if you want to play along with us, as we have a 9-race card on tap for you, make sure you do so with that guy right there, of course.
There you go.
You get that $200 deposit match bonus when you sign up today and use promo code bonus200. Check out NairaBets.com for all the details. And, of course, once you head over there, you can get up to date with all the track stats on the track trends, stats, and betting insights, primarily from our good friend Matthew DeSantis. Check out NairaBets.com if you didn't hear me say that just 2 seconds ago. And you have that $25 bonus on Aqueduct Sundays. Bet 75, get a $25 bonus on the final Sunday. Make sure you opt in over at NairaBets.com. And, of course, America's Day at the Races coverage starting at 12 o'clock, just Aqueduct today, so we go to 4:30 on FS2. Well, we start the day with a good-looking 2-year-old field. Fillies going the mile. We did lose a major player, I think, with More Than Grace, but Ray Handel's My Sharona will stay in here, and everything about this filly, Paul, said that she wanted longer from her physical frame. Ray saying it as well, and just and I thought it was promising that she actually showed as much speed going 6.5 as she did.
Yeah, and actually fought it out to the wire with a horse of Beauty Reigns, who was decent pedigree and ran well in that race for Bill Mott, too. Also with My Sharona, I just feel like, too, she was climbing early. She wasn't comfortable with the dirt being kicked around. Yeah, she was definitely green, and she's another one that's a big girl, literally, too, compared to others as well. So I think in here, I wasn't going to try to beat her in here with who was left after the scratch of More Than Grace. I just think that she's a horse that benefited from that first start and will probably be even tighter and better today. And at this time of the year, too late in the year, it's kind of hard for me to want to take a first-time starter, even though there's a well-bred one on the outside when you look at the second generation of that horse.
Yeah, of course. Second dam on Ramify being Sightseek, multiple grade 1 winner. She was a dam of Raison d'Etat. There hasn't been much recent production, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, Munnings, a good sign. But going a mile first time out, it's a little bit tricky. And I feel like, based upon connections with Pratt, Flavian aboard, and Chad Brown, she just might take too much money than what she's supposed to.
Maybe. I still think the 4 is going to ultimately end up the favorite in here just based off the first race and the trip and getting to stretch out. I do like the outside post for this horse. I will say that. But at this time of the year, I don't know. You know, it gets kind of late in the year. I just want somebody with experience. And I just find this horse, the 4 horse, anyway, My Sharona, to be way the horse to beat in here.
Do you think, obviously we have the same exact picks, but are you concerned at all with Hey Everybody being this main speed in here, especially with the scratch of More Than Grace, and being able to wire this field?
I don't know if this horse wants a mile.
I
Just
agree with
based
you.
on the race, the way this horse is raced and the body
Yeah.
language of this horse, I'm just not sure. Now, listen, I mean, you know, she's showing some sparks that she can run in places, you know, but she kind of just gave out last time at the 5/16th, and I wasn't crazy about that. So maybe she gets comfortable in front in here if none of the firsters go, but I don't see My Sharona being that far
She
off
won't.
of her early. So to
And
me,
she's drawn to the outside of her,
yeah,
so she's in a more preferable
yeah, she's
position.
in a good spot, but I don't think distance is going to be the one's friend in here. To me, it was 4s and 6s, and then kind of a little bit of everybody else.
Race number 2 is a claiming 10 going the 6 furlongs, and it gets, I mean, you're trying to beat her, Jackie the Joker, but I just thought that she's faced better horses, and today she just gets class relief. These next few races, you know, they have prohibitive favorites in them and at lower levels, and I don't like taking these types of horses, but I couldn't see beyond them.
I'm not way against her. I have her second here, and I think she's going to fall into a good trip. She's going to lay close, and she drops. And 2 starts back, she was on the chase, obviously, against much better horses. I'm just kind of hoping with Our Funny Business in here that, you know, I know that there's not too much pace signed on in here, but there might be enough to help this horse out a little bit. And honestly, My First Love fell into really nice trips the last 2 times out, and I kind of felt like last time out, even though the race fell apart, that Our Funny Business was coming late. So I'm just hoping for a little bit better trip in here on the slightest of drop downs. But the lack of speed kind of hurts this horse a little bit. But I'm not way against the horse you picked on the rails. The horse to beat in here on the drop, obviously, against this group.
Right. Now, Our Funny Business, I did think that, you know, first time out for Michael Catalano, she actually looked better than ever.
Yeah.
But I also kind of thought maybe the track helped her out a little. A horse that does prefer a little bit of moisture in the ground at times, but
It's
she's
fair. No,
obviously
it's fair to
won,
say. Yeah,
and
it's
she's
fair.
run fast enough races on a dry track too. So I just kind of want to see it again on this type of racetrack. And then the kind of wild card is on the outside with number 6, Willful Desire, who could be the main speed in here, though we do see Eric Cancel aboard. I'm hoping that he's aggressive with this horse. I mean, that's her only way of winning, if she can. But she has proven time and time again that she's a bit distance challenged, even at 6 furlongs.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. You know, I mean, listen. She's supposed to be on the pace in here at the very least, or of course, if she's right off of that voided claim and the layoff, we'll see as she drops to what's the bottom now, which isn't really that much of a drop from last time. But I don't know. I mean, I have mixed signals about her, and I'm just not sure she's going to finish it out when the 6 coming off of this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I always pay attention, lift my head when a horse is going first time for Linda Rice in here. But, she is not the most trustworthy.
No, and especially based on the last couple of starts anyway.
Race number 3, it is a maiden 30 going 7 furlongs. We did see a scratch of Vamanos. I was just making sure because I didn't write it on my iPad that he was out, but I knew that. Who was my top pick in here, unfortunately. But let's start by talking about the horse who could potentially be the speed coming in here from Finger Lakes. That's number 3, Stormin' Sammy.
So last time out, Storming Sammy really did get off to a bad start in there and just really got kind of ducked in and kind of got shuffled a little bit, but really got legs underneath him and took off at the top of the stretch. And listen, you know, had the lead, got collared in, got a set. Puckish, the winner of that race, actually got a 73 figure for that race. I wonder if this horse can just get away early from this group and be able to see out the 7 furlongs. He's got the best figures in this race and probably should be in front in here.
Yeah, I could see that happening. And, like, yes, she did duck in a little bit, but he recovered
Yeah,
so quickly.
Yeah.
So definitely the potentially the fastest horse early in here. There were some other ones that I thought could be forward in here. Obviously, Run of the House, scratching in to him as my top pick. I mean, it's, night and day to what he faced first time out. With a horse like Dapper Moon, Guns Loaded would come back with an 88 buyer in his subsequent start. Ray doesn't have the greatest numbers in doing this, and for dropping down from maiden special weight to maiden claiming. Overall, he is 11%, a little bit better when doing on the dirt at 15%. But I thought that, yes, this horse backpedaled around the turn, but he did break okay, and he did put himself in the game for some of the running. So now, I just thought, did Christopher Elliott lose the bug?
Yes. It looks like it in my form. I don't have him listed as.
Sorry, I just totally veered left.
No,
on
that's
that.
I have the same thing here too. It's listing him at 119. So I don't know if that is a misprint or if that is.
Okay. Well, anyway,
fact.
That's why I went.
No, he is in the next race. He's listed with 5. So maybe it's
weird.
just a misprint in the form.
Oh. Okay, or it was a late change or something, and already, there was entered.
Yeah.
Anyway, you went to number 6 in here. Bernie Goes Boom for Mike Maselli. This horse, switching back to the dirt last time, I thought was a little bit green at first, and then kind of picked up some pieces late.
Yeah, listen, I'm wondering if more ground is going to help him, certainly. And listen, I know he wasn't any threat kind of last time late, but at least he did a little bit of running, to at least pass a couple of horses in there. So I'm hoping with the stretch out here today. And last time out, he finally got away a little bit better. He didn't have trouble. He didn't get bumped at the start. He didn't get away a little bit slow like he did as well in the debut. So I'm hoping this time out he gets out a little bit better. And Romero puts him into the game if he's got a little bit more speed and he just sits off a horse like Storming Sammy or even Run of the House in here and gets first run in here. But I think distance is going to help him out as far as going a little bit longer.
Right. Whereas, the 2-to-1 morning line favorite, Storming Sammy, I don't know if 7 furlongs helped him.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I do have him second is I just think because he's probably going to be in front of these, and I'm just hoping today he just bravens up. But I'm thinking 7's going to be the great equalizer for him, and he just ends up second.
Yeah, no, yes, Bernie Goes Boom, I do think has a shot in here. As race number 4 does kick off the pick 6, going the 6 furlongs, non-2 life for 16. And we do see a heavy favorite on the outside with the drop down. First time for a tag is number 7, Enfuega. Let's take a look back at her second place effort when she was coming back off the layoff in June.
So when I looked at this race, I was thinking to myself, okay, she's probably the best horse, and she's run against the better horses in here. But now that she's coming off the layoff, and look, if she runs any of her 3 dirt sprint races, she probably is going to be winning here, or at least be a strong case for winning here. But I don't know. Isn't there just other speed inside of her today that maybe if she's fresh off the layoff and she pops out of there and goes, she's going to have company to her inside? So I don't know if this is the best setup for her here today. She's definitely the best horse on paper in some respects as far as horses she's run against and some figures that she's run. But coming off the layoff today and some speed inside of her, I don't know if she's going to get the right trip in here.
But she's outside.
I know, but I don't know if she's going to be able to clear off from out there. And I just have my questions about her if she doesn't clear off in here. Because her 2 better races have been when she's been able to at least, well, her debut race anyway, when she was able to control. But even when you look at the race in June, I mean, she ran second in there, but at least she was on the front end and dueling in there. I don't know with some horses inside of her.
I knew my earring was about to fall out.
The Modes of Morning Grouch and Foolish Challenge and a couple of others. I don't know. I played that well. I just let you do your thing over.
Yeah.
With your,
I felt the backing fall off.
You're
having
a tough week this week with things that are falling off of you. First we thought it was the chair and it was something.
Tom Morley, I need better jewelry.
It was a necklace. Oh, okay. You know what? That's fair. Look, Christmas is coming, right? So.
Why do you think I said that?
Yeah, come on.
So anyway, I reluctantly took her.
Okay.
She. And Foolish Challenge, I thought, was a viable alternative. Neither of us have her on top, but I thought second off the bench, last time, tougher field by a mile, and wired on a sloppy racetrack. Okay, she gets back to a fast track today for her second start for the Wayne Potts barn off of that layoff, and I think Christopher Elliott needs to keep her more in a forward position. I don't think this is a filly that has a lot of gears. That's going to make up a lot of ground. Get her out of the gate, put her in a forward position, and see what she has at the end. So I do think she's a little bit interesting because some of these Monmouth races that we just watched are decent and make her a player.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the right drop and the right spot for her in here. She needs to be in a closer position to be able to stalk for sure. And I think there's I think there's enough pace or enough horses that are going to be backing up into her late that she's going to get a good enough trip in here.
Short shift, reasoning for her?
Just dropping turf to dirt, and you know what? This is the softest field that she's faced in quite a while as well, too. So I'm just hoping for a better start than she had in her debut as well, because I think her debut race wasn't that bad. She made a little bit of a run into it, you know.
But that was on a sloppy sealed racetrack.
Right. So we'll see if we can do it today on a fast track.
Which her fast track race.
It was going a mile though.
It was going a mile. Okay,
so
fine.
I'd like to see her.
But she won going a mile on the turf. I mean, I kind of get it. I just, look, she can win. I know, but there were some reasons to not like her, I thought.
Well, maybe some more in your camp than mine. But I feel like, to me, the 6 furlongs, a fast track, she should get a decent enough trip inside. I would just like to see her kind of stalk and pounce in here.
Okay.
We'll see what she does. And I just feel like the competition's a lot easier today. And I don't
trust.
From
that inside post, though, switching turf to dirt?
I don't think she's going to be that far out of it. If she's a couple of lanes out of it, it's fine. I mean, that's what I'm looking for here.
Taking dirt.
I'm not
taking dirt. That's
I'm about horses that are going to come from off the pace in here because I just feel I feel like that Enfuega on the outside is going to either get hooked or just not get the lead easily in here, and she is not going to finish in this spot. So I want a couple of horses that are going to come from off the pace because I don't trust any of the other horses that have speed in here. Dashing Della, I don't trust. We'll see if Ali Song has any speed. I'm not the biggest fan of the
Motor Morning Grouch should be the fastest.
Should be the fastest in here as well. So I just don't trust the 7 not having the lead in here. We'll see what happens.
But she's outside. All right. Race 5. We'll take a break after this one. We did see a couple of scratches. The plain part of the entry Coffre comes out here, and as well as Pipes and Dreams. Now let's start by talking about the 2 favorites, Valenzen Day.
Yeah.
As much as I have tried to beat this horse in the past, he just shows up. And this effort here, Paul, I thought was outstanding in defeat. Maybe one of his better races because he broke well. Then others sent harder. Yes, it was a quick pace, considering the level, considering the distance. But the winner just had a better trip than him.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And what I really loved about this race, even in defeat, was, the talk about Valenzen Day a lot of times was he was with the track in a lot of those races that he won in. And could he do it without it? And he did here, and he ran a good race, even though it was in defeat. And for me, I think he's one of the horses to beat there. And I have no knocks on him for a change today, where I was trying, like you, to beat him, saying, every time he's going out there and he's putting up numbers.
You are trying to beat him, though.
But I am in here in this spot. But I'm just saying, because I think it's really 2s and 3s in here. But going back prior to some of his starts, I would say, I don't understand how this horse keeps doing it because he's dressed up by tracks, and it would just be another day where he was with the track and ran well, where last time he didn't. So I'm not against him in here. I just went to the second choice in here because I just thought Montebello ran huge last time.
And Valenzen Day, just getting back to him real quick, 3 next time out winners, including yesterday with Optic Way, running a 76. The 4th place finisher came back and won too, and obviously Cumberland Blues. So a live race, but I'll let you talk about Montebello. Does get the trainer switch to Bill Morey in here. I did think he tried hard, but he lingered, as we'll watch here, on his inside lead. Now, he's hanging in gamely, right? Against the eventual winner, Garuvan. These 2 just running 1-2 around the racetrack. Now, watch when he does switch to his outside lead. That's when he stops.
Yeah. And my thing with this race, though, was I thought he ran well in the context of this race because
he switches there,
right there.
Whoop.
I thought it was really wise of Manny Franco on Grooven to keep him pinned in because he's a horse who likes to be outside Montebello. He doesn't want anybody leaning on him, and he did lean on him, so it kind of hurt him there and got him out of his comfort zone. So I wonder that was, of course he was on the wrong lead anyway, but I wonder if that also played a role in him just not being able to finish the deal there. But I thought he ran okay, and now he goes first off the claim for Bill Murray. Look, he's the logical second choice to Valenzuela Day in here, and I think, he's drawn outside of that rival today, so we'll see what we get from him, and hopefully there won't be any horse to keep him pinned in this time.
Yeah, and look, the pace in here I think is interesting, and I think it's promising that Valenzuela Day showed that he can rate and still be effective, because one would think that Scaramanga stretching out should be the pace. I don't know.
I would.
You would think,
I would
but
think
sometimes
he's
logical
supposed to be
reasoning goes
fast
out the
enough.
window.
Yeah, sometimes you would think he's fast enough to be there. He's got the speed early to be there. We'll see what happens with him. I'm not sold on him going the mile, but he should be a part of the pace.
Exactly. And maybe that hurts Valenzuela Day. I don't know, being on the inside of him. So we'll see what shakes out there as we'll take a quick break here on this Rapid Fire Talking Horses. Stay tuned.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. I'm Maggie, he's Paul, and race number 6 is a New York bred allowance, going 1 mile and an eighth for the older horses. And I wanted the more confirmed dirt horses in here. So did you, as Colomio. These types of horses baffle me, Paul. I mean,
what has you puzzled?
He spent the majority of his career so far not in New York.
Yeah, and a New York bred.
And it's not like he's like an obscurely bred
No,
New York bred. Like, he's a really
yeah.
well-bred New York bred
Yeah.
that started off in California. Granted, we trained a New York bred that started off in England, so there's that. Anyway, Colomio, I thought ran well last time for his first start in this state for Charlie Baker off the claim. It was a sloppy racetrack. The pace fell apart. He was part of a 3-horse pace duel. Granted, he was on the inside. And I thought he stayed on pretty well. And he kind of indicated that 1 mile and an eighth isn't going to be a problem.
Yeah, 1 mile and an eighth shouldn't be a problem for him. I kind of felt like last time, too, Dylan Davis did a good job with him to keep him in, because he was kind of like, as the Mig said, like one reined down the backside. Like he wanted to get out while he was there. So, listen, hopefully he's more well-behaved in that regard. I think going 1 mile and an eighth gets him to relax a little bit more, and he's speed of the speed, so he
More
should be in front. Yeah, he gets into a rhythm. And,
yeah.
So I think he's very logical in here. He should clear from the outside, I would hope, and just be able to be in front of these and be able to settle down and get a nice trip.
Now, a horse that I don't particularly like that you have second is Zabruder.
At the end of the day, when I was looking at this race, I know that his races are kind of slow on the dirt that I've seen, but I was just hoping getting back to 1 mile and an eighth and being able to come from a little bit off the pace and just kind of be a suck-up second. I was really all in on the 7 in this race. And to me, I was just looking for an alternative underneath that was.
But he's going to be second.
He's going to be second. You know what? When I did this, I'm going to be completely honest. When I look at these races, I don't have the morning line with me, so I was thinking he was going to be a little bit more of a price than what David has him as. So I was hoping for that, because I just don't like the morning line favorite in here at all. So I was hoping I was going to get a little bit of better price underneath with Liberty Central.
Okay, my problem with Zabruder is people are going to look at connections and likely bet on connections, perceivably. But this horse has been in excellent barns. Linda Rice, Joe Sharp, Horacio De Paz, Ray Handel, Rick Dutrow.
The one thing I will say is if you go back to his April 7th race, which I know on his face doesn't look that good either, but he was kind of against the track that day anyway. Inside was good, and I don't know. I mean, I could give him a little pass for that.
That was a 14.93 life.
I know. I mean, but I can give him a little pass on that one. I know this is a much tougher spot. I'm not arguing that fact. I'm just saying if you wanted to give him a pass on that. And he doesn't have much early speed. Again, I was just looking for a better price.
All right, Liberty Central. He is installed at 2-1, and the fact of the matter is that his dry races going 2 turns are superior than his 1 turn, especially now that he has 2 sloppy races layered in between those. They're just better.
Yeah,
and he had a wide trip last time.
I know, but he was so bad last time in the stretch. I don't know if it was the track or if it was just him not caring for them. I don't know. They came home in 28 seconds, too. I don't know. I'm just not his biggest fan. I've never been his biggest fan. you know.
Well, you're saying they came home in 28 seconds, but you have Colomio on top, too.
I know. But I figured he's going to be in front today, at least, and be able to go
Okay.
better at the mile and an eighth distance than the mile. I think it suits him better than it's going to suit Liberty Central at the end of the day.
All right. I do respect this horse. I like him going the 9 furlongs. We'll see what he does. Got a little love for Supreme Being, too. I know you don't have him anywhere, but this horse's last 4 races make him a player. I mean, what chance did he have in the Turkey Trot against Warrior Johnny, 90% Maddie? Like, those are legit horses. And his 3 races prior to that, I thought, make him a bit of a player, and those were against Open Company.
Yeah, against Open Company. He's going to make one late run in here, so you'll see him coming from off the pace.
Very, very slow and stride.
Yeah.
Yes. Race number 7, it's a starter allowance, another 9 furlong event here. We do see Linda Rice sending out the 5-2 morning line favorite in Enigmatic. Last time, Paul, as we'll check out her win first off that trainer change back in June, where she just aired a field here in an off-the-turf event. Last time, though, she was equipped with an extension blinker. And so often with extension blinkers, especially the first time they wear it, they don't break well.
Yeah.
She didn't break well last time. Now, maybe second time with it, she'll break better, as she does appear to be the fastest of these speed horses. So she could be dangerous in that respect, but does she really want to go this far?
That was my only question with her, honestly, because I thought last time her breaking a little bit slow is what cost her ultimately in the end, probably, having to rush up a little bit and then be in front. But I wonder if the mile and an eighth is going to be the great equalizer for her. There's a couple of other horses in here that could be a little bit forward. I still think she's probably faster than them anyway, but there's a couple of horses that might press her or might be a little bit forward anyway, or just sitting off of her. So I don't know. I mean, I have her 4th in here. I had a tough time with this race, and I just ended up going to the longer of the Linda Rice horses at the end of the day, because I had a tough time making heads or tails of this race and who I actually wanted to pick on top.
Have at it, Street View.
I know the numbers look a little bit slow for this horse, but got a nice run from the inside, from the back last time out, and fought it out, would solve the puzzle. So took a while to kind of go by, kind of push by and everything. I wonder if the mile and an eighth is going to help this horse a little bit out, too, on the dirt, be able to run a little bit more. It took her a little while to get by going the mile, so maybe the mile and an eighth will give her a little more time to press by at the end of the day. Outside post is probably going to drop back and make one run. So we'll see. Again, I just was looking for a price in this race because I just wasn't sold on the 3 in here, and I just really didn't have much of an opinion on everybody else.
Food for thought, Street View was listed as a regulatory vet scratch for lameness back on December 1st in this same spot. Doesn't show a work since then.
So that's a little bit of pause, yeah.
Does wear front wraps. Linda Rice's horses often don't necessarily wear them. So I went with Dazzy because I, too, struggled with this race. And a 6.5 to a mile and an eighth, that's a bit of a jump. Now, Jamie Ness often has good stats, but this is a significant sample size. I looked it up, and I know this is at maybe some easier places, easier racetracks, but with horses who won their last start going sprint to route, he's 46 for 135. So that's 34% with a positive ROI.
Yeah, and that's a big sample size for a guy. So there's a lot of horses, but still the stats there.
The stats there. This is a filly or mare that I've liked in the past. So we'll see what she does. That stat was the only reason I took her. I think she's going to be forward in here. Maybe just gets a nice stalking trip behind Enigmatic.
We'll see. I wonder if Ruben Silvera is going to I think the gate. He's aggressive.
There's a lot of speed here. I mean, what are they going to do with Balenciaga Betty? What are they going to do with Focus Pocus? I think there could be some pace in here, and so therefore maybe that does set it up nicely for your horse.
We'll find out.
La Vida Sofia, I don't know. I thought she was bad last time. She should take money because it's Rudy and Flavian, but
yeah, I mean, she wasn't beaten much when she beat much. Couple back, and I don't know. I'm not even sure she wants to go this long either, and the level might be a little too high for her.
Race 8, it is our feature. It's a garland of roses, 6 furlongs for the older fillies and mares. We did see a major defection in Ellen J, who was switching back to the main track. Do you have any interest in her?
Had her like 4th in here.
Yeah, I didn't like her at all.
I didn't really.
St. Benedict's Pratt also a
Yeah.
serious scratch too. I definitely had her a little bit higher up. But let's first talk about the New York bred, the venerable New York bred on the outside. Number 8, Can't Hurry Love for Dave Duggan. Now she's going to have to come off a little bit of layoff as we check back with her in June when she won the Dancin' Renee. She's cool, man. She's just, I love
know.
her.
She's such a sweetheart. Watch her run too, and I mean, listen, I was impressed with this race that she won here too.
Beating Lilu as well,
Yeah,
who was highly
Sterling
regarded.
Silver too. I
Sterling
mean, I know Sterling Silver didn't run her best race, but even still, I mean,
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, the field you ran against, and you know, I think the blinkers helped her, but I think the blinkers were more of a focus thing for her to get her to focus as far as instead of being more sharper and keener early. It was just have focus, you know, have a little bit more focus out there. And listen, I mean, even you go back to her races too. I mean, you know, she just lost to Hot Fudge when Hot Fudge was going well for Linda and everything. And post works for her today. She got a nice outside post, so she can see what's going on. It's not like she's going to have other horses around her to her outside that she'll be looking at or kind of glancing around. So listen, if she's ready off the layoff, she's certainly a player in here.
Did you put, no, you didn't put her on top. Mystic Pleasure for Rudy Brissett coming in here as well. Last time, you know, the heavy favorite, Spirit Wind, who was even money, as we see there, blew the break, and she projected before. But in hindsight, it was still a really fast opening half mile of 44-3, and she was right on top of it. So it looked like she wanted to throw in the towel. You know, you could see her,
like
stride diminishing, but she still stayed on, I thought, and fought very gamely. Now around here, you're not going to get fractions like that. So we'll see where Mystic Pleasure, you know, finds herself early on, but she has run very well in many of her races, especially at the sprint distance.
Yeah, and listen, she's got enough forwardness to her to keep her close no matter what the pace is in here. She's just got to transfer to New York. I mean, that's really all she has to do.
She also has to do it without LASIK, so she's never won without LASIK, so that's a little caveat as well.
Yeah, no, there's a question about that as well.
Though.
But she's forward enough in here, and listen, you know, the pace last time was fast, and we'll see what we get out of her today. Basically, with her, it's just a matter of transferring her form to New York, like you said, and doing it with LASIK because she's a good horse, and she's run well in some of her races. So I've got no complaint with her.
Autumn Evening?
Autumn Evening for me, you know, blinkers going on today. It's not like she's got blown out in the 2 straight stakes tries in the Victory Ride or the Prioress that she's been in. So, I mean, Too Sharp is a 96 Buyer stakes winner that she ran into in the Prioress and Bright Work as well. I'm hoping that she doesn't have to exert as much in this race. Maybe the blinkers will help her, that she doesn't have to be worked on as early. She'll be a little bit more focused and a little bit more keen because Johnny got to work on her pretty early last time from basically the half, and she grinded out that win to get up. So I'm hoping she's going to have a little pace in front of her. She's got to improve a little bit. I don't think she's going to – I don't think she's been disappointing in her stake start, so today is for her to show she's got a little speed in front of her, and hopefully the blinkers will help her focus and she'll get a good trip.
I like her. I like her as a horse, for sure. I just didn't understand. I mean, I do understand the basis of the thinking that, okay, we're turning her back. She's been successful sprinting with the blinkers. We're going to put them back on her. But this is not a Todd move. You know, I looked at his stats. He never does this. Horses off a win. Obviously, you do have to get approval from the stewards to put blinkers on off of win. But in the past 5 years, he's only done it once before.
I mean, we'll see. He's Todd. I mean, he's won more races than I have, so I can't question what he's doing.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just found that very interesting.
Yeah, for somebody who sends out the amount of horses that he does and off of wins, no, nevertheless. And, you know, so I don't know. I just feel like, doesn't this horse, I mean, okay, he's got to get faster for sure. But doesn't he just fall into a decent enough trip in here? Behind some of the speed in here.
Yes.
So we'll see.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know. She just hasn't quite run a fast enough race.
For you. Yeah.
Ain't Broke. She's the Linda horse that stays in here, coming in off of what has worked out to be that Ruffian, a really solid race, a Breeders' Cup winner and Soul of an Angel, taking the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint, randomized, obviously a Grade 1 winner. Now, she kind of has a weird running style, right? She doesn't break that well. She finds a while to get her stride, and then like as soon as she hits the turn, it's like she goes vroom.
Yeah, she gets shot out of a cannon.
And when she wanted to do that, Eric got her in a little bit of a jackpot, and she had to check, and then she bled, unfortunately, after that race. So I love the fact that Linda gives her ample amount of time. She was entered yesterday in the Go for One, going a bit longer. So they opt for the 6 furlong race. I think, both of us maybe want to take the wait and see approach with her, but there does feel as though there's enough speed in here it could play in her favor.
She's quality enough that if it gets really hot, she will run late. I thought yesterday was probably the better spot, but then in retrospect, you don't know with the way the race kind of played out. But we'll see with her, because her best puts her, in a good spot here. I do know one thing. I mean, she will be coming late. It's just a question of, is this a prep for longer, or was this the right spot? And we'll find out, what it is later on this afternoon.
Race number 9 to round things out, being special weight for the New York breds, going the 6 furlongs, and a good mix of first-time starters versus horses who have experience in here. Let's talk about the ones who have run before. Joker on Fire turning back. He definitely doesn't want any part of going long. No. I knew that looking at him, but he proved it out in the racetrack too. But he's had his chances. I get it. But I feel like, maybe today is the day where he can be effective. But I ultimately went to Vikinda in here, who you don't like at all, which I can see some reasoning. First time out, had great speed, right?
Yeah.
And could be the main speed in here, but was so heavy, so chunky. And so rightfully got tired. And then the turf just didn't work out quite as well overall. And I just think maybe back to the dirt is what this horse actually wants to do.
Yeah, he's just a confusing horse for me, because I just don't know what he wants to do. And obviously we'll find out, what it is. Lost to a stablemate in the debut. And I don't think it was a bad race. As you said, needed the race and needed to get some fitness on him and lose a little bit of that baby fat on him. And I thought he ran well enough in that debut. I was just wondering, and he's drawn outside of the one in here, and we'll see if we get any speed, from a horse like Free Dance and what any of the firsters do in here. So I was just wondering if he was going to be in front in here, or just have to be on the chase.
Joker on Fire also, 2 back went 4th. That was a very good race with Kenny B wiring the field that day. But you're taking a horse that also comes out of that race who, I mean, maybe you just want to forgive him for completely blowing the brake in Whiskey Friends. But I mean, he was 17-1 for connections that get bet.
Couple of things. I just feel like, one, it was very green in that day. He was kind of throwing his head all over the place too, at different spots in the race, kind of looking all over, like what's going on, like where am I, what am I doing? And it was a productive race, as you said, with the first, second, third, last place finishers, coming back and either winning or running second next out. So, and I also like the fact too that this horse was entered for maiden claiming. They scratched it to run this horse back.
You like that? Why do you like that?
Because I just think it's better to keep the horse in a protected spot. I think maybe that.
But why was he entered in a maiden 25 to begin with?
Maybe they just put him in there. Maybe they were thinking about putting him in there, seeing how the field turned out. I mean, does anybody in this field scare you though?
Well, I mean, you have a first-time starter for Todd Pletcher. I know there's actually some decent pedigrees with the first-time starters.
I know, but again, I kind of go back to my whole I like horses with experience in December.
Yeah,
this time
I'm
of the
not
year.
disagreeing
and I get
you.
it, but I don't. There was no horses I don't think that were scaring you in the spot. Now, maybe the maiden 25 would have been better for him, or maybe they just didn't want to give up on him yet.
Okay.
I mean, Rick Dutcher's horses, I mean, I know first time out, they run well. Sometimes we see improvement second time out from them.
They do.
So,
Actually, that is one thing where he feels like he builds his horses and doesn't have them cranked up to win first time out. Do note Lane Luzzy does pick up the mount there. As far as first time starters go, look, Todd Pletcher, you can never ignore him, and he'll send out Prince Valiant, but there is no pedigree on this horse. Though I thought maybe it was promising that they did pay $50,000 for this guy as a weanling.
Yeah, and listen, there's a couple of okay works that are peppered in there, and the dam was 2 for 3 sprinting, but again, nothing really to go on beyond that. And it doesn't have the flash of like a Todd horse that you would see.
No, and I will say this is that Red Oak Stable, obviously they use Greg Sacco a lot, but it feels like the better ones do, or the perceived better ones go to Todd.
Yeah, end up with Todd.
So. Now I threw in the 5. All right.
Okay.
I gotta talk a little bit about my
Sure.
my friend asking for a friend. Son of Practical Joke. That's good to begin with.
Yeah.
This horse half to aggregation, stakes placed.
That's fine.
Granted, Noble Emotion, also a good runner, but more on sprinting on the turf because he was by Noble Mission. Second Dam, she was better on the turf instead of that. This horse has been working okay.
Okay.
For Juan Bernardini, who doesn't win first time out necessarily, but I'm interested to see what Asking for a Friend does, because I do like the pedigree. Linda's horse to the inside, Sand Devil, has a bit of a pedigree.
Yes, I have that last
Violence,
second,
you
yeah.
know, precocious type of
Yep.
sire. Half to New York bred stakes winner. Can you dig it? Though the two most productive progeny were both by Tisnow.
Yeah, and not by violence. In the work. Listen, I like the last work too for this horse. I have this horse second in here. That was the first where I was kind of leaning towards, but they did pay up for your $100,000 they paid for the horse.
Yeah,
So
yeah. All right, that'll do it. Thank you. Well done.
thank you.
See you
In a few minutes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo, we gotta go. All right. Talking horses. That's a wrap. If you want to play along today on this Aqueduct card, make sure you do so with your Naira Bets account. Use deposit match bonus 200 over at NairaBets.com. And when you get there, check out all you need to know with the track stats, with all the track trends, statistics, and betting insights. And we also have that $25 promotion when you opt in at NairaBets.com on Sundays. Just make sure you bet 75 and you'll get that $25 bonus on the final Sunday. And of course, you can catch us really soon
Yes.
on America's Day at the races on FS2. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you a little bit over on FS2. Best of luck today.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.